Okay, we are going to be doing the Gum Inquiry Lab, and the purpose of this is to learn more about mass and also to give you an example lab that you could do if you wanted to reach an advanced level for the scientific method benchmark. Prior to doing the lab, you should you should have your problem. So in this case, does gum lose mass when you chew it? My hypothesis was that it will lose mass, so I'm going to write down lose. And I'm going to put a reason. I think it's going to lose mass because I think the sugar is going to dissolve, and therefore the gum should have less mass. My materials are a balance scale, a pencil, a container, a piece of double bubble, and that's all you really need other than your lab packet. You need to write down your procedure because in this case, remember, you're giving me the steps because this would be your lab, your project, not me giving you the steps. The first thing you want to do is put a container on the balance scale because we don't want to put the gum on the scale, it's kind of dirty. Remember, we don't want to weigh the wrapper and we don't want to have the weight of the container on there, so I'm going to re-zero the scale, and now that'll subtract the weight of the container. And when I put the gum on, I noticed that it's 6.3 grams. So I'm going to make a chart, and at time 0, before I started chewing, this is 6.3 grams. This is also a good time to make some qualitative observations at the top of the page. What does the gum look like? What does it feel like? And then obviously you'll be able to taste it too. So I'm going to start chewing the gum, and then in 3 more minutes I'm going to do the exact same thing and find the mass of the gum and see if it's going up or going down or stayed the same. Okay, now it's time for me to see how much mass there is in the gum after 3 minutes of chewing. My scale is already zeroed out from the cup, so there's looks like it's went down. There's 2.5 grams of gum, so I'm going to fill it in on my chart. After 3 minutes, there's 2.5 grams. And now I'm going to put it back in my mouth and chew for another 3 minutes. Okay, chewing my gum again after another 3 minutes, so now I'm up to 6 minutes. Down to 1.7 grams, so I've gone from 6.3 to 2.5 to 1.7, so there's definitely a downward trend. I'm also going to probably add to my qualitative observations because the gum has definitely lost its flavor and it's a lot stickier than it was before. Okay, your qualitative data should be up here. You should have made a chart that has the quantitative data. So I measured at 0, 3, 6, 9, and 12. I didn't do all those on camera, but you'll take my word for it. And the mass definitely has a downward trend to it. So my hypothesis was correct. On the very bottom of the page, you should write down what happened, and not just what happened, but why did it happen, okay? It's obvious that the gum lost mass, but why do you think the gum lost mass? It's always important to ask or answer the question why, not just what happened. Now, you're still not done yet. On the opposite side, there's some graph paper, and you're going to have to graph this out. So, before I started, the mass of the gum was 6.3 grams. So I made a graph that has the time in the minutes on the x-axis and grams on the y-axis. So when I started at 0, it was 6.8 grams. There's 6.5. 6.8 would be right about there. And, oops, 6.3. My bad. This is why you should use pencil instead of pen. See, I did that on purpose. Next, at 3 minutes, it was 2.5 grams. Halfway between 2 and 3 is 2.5. It's above the 3 minute mark. And then I take a ruler and I connect the dots. So you're going to want to make this into a line graph. So you just have to keep on plotting those points and connecting them together with straight lines. Eventually it'll get all the way down to 1.4 after 12 minutes, and then your line graph will be done. So you have to plot the points for 6, 9, and 12. And this is an example of a lab that somebody could do if they wanted to reach the advanced level in the scientific method, and hopefully you also learned a little bit about mass.